Hi, this is Scott Savage for our weekly accelerator. I'm here in Barcelona, Spain, across the street from a basilica, one of the iconic buildings here in Barcelona, the Sagrada Familia, that was commissioned to be built by the architect Antoni Gaudí. He began building this building in 1882, and it is yet to be finished some 130 plus years later. The reason that I wanted to stand outside of this building is to talk about what Gaudí had envisioned. As he was building the building, I found the exterior to be a bit shocking over the years as I've come to visit. But as I got inside, I found out what he was really trying to accomplish. He studied nature, and as he looked throughout nature, wanted to find ways to incorporate it into architecture. And so you'll see a lot of less stark and cornered lines and so forth, and much more natural beauty. As you go inside, there's incredible amounts of light through the windows, and just like you'd have in nature. And he actually built the pillars inside to be much like you would see a tree forest with a canopy. It's actually quite incredible, and encourage you sometime, if you're here in Barcelona, to come in and give it a viewing. Why did I use this week for the accelerator? Because those things which are often natural are not necessarily common practice. The way normally we say it is, common sense is not always common practice. As we think about igniting momentum, I would like you to consider what we call the 4 rights. You have to get the 4 rights right in order to get the right kinds of client meetings, in order to ever get any type of authentic and effective igniting of momentum. So let's walk through the 4 rights. The first right is you have to have the right topic. We have a lot of clients who can call up a client and say, "Hi, this is Scott Savage from XYZ Corporation. I'm our lead partner over financial services, and we've been wanting to meet with you for quite some time. When can we meet?" And they'll actually get the meeting. Now, my question for you is that a good meeting? Well, it could be, but in most cases, it could be a disaster. The reason is because they don't get the first right, which is what? It is to get the right topic. So we would encourage you that before we take a meeting, that I might do that introduction and then say, "Do you have 3 minutes that I could share what we'd like to meet about?" And get a confirmation of interest or some igniting of momentum around whether or not that topic would be useful for them to spend time on and for us to spend time on. That's the first right, topic. The second right we have to get right is the right people. It's very common to show up into a meeting and to assume that you're going to have a one-on-one meeting and have there be a whole room full of people in a conference room where they might say, "Scott Savage is here and he's going to be sharing with us their insights on this particular topic. We're all glad that you could be here. Scott, take it away." Where when I wanted to have maybe a one-on-one meeting or a small meeting, it's because I didn't get the right people. And so what we'd encourage you to do is, after checking off the topic, to actually encourage or to request for the people that you would like to be there. So it might sound something like this. After hearing what our topic will be this next week, are there any other people that you think would be interested in meeting with us? Or if you wanted to have an individual meeting, you might say, "Given the topic, I'm thinking that it might make sense for the 2 of us to meet, followed by maybe, if there's interest, to meeting with others later." So if we have the right topic and the right people, we're off to a good start. Now we have to get the right time. It's not uncommon to have in most people's calendar or diary 45 minutes to an hour in an initial meeting. Well, we want to make sure we ask for that time, knowing that often they start late or need to end early, or there could be interruptions. So we want to ask for a little more time than we need. It never hurts to end an early meeting just a little earlier than they were expecting. So we'd want to ask for the right time. The catch here, so often as we share a topic or we talk about the right people we want to have there in the meeting or would like to invite to the meeting, it's not uncommon for the person to say, "Well, let's meet now. I'd like to know more about this." Well, the challenge with that is, of course, that neither we or they are prepared. And if they do need time or take time, we're usually only going to get a fraction of the time that we thought we could need or have. So what we might want to do is, first of all, recognize that the topic is of interest and it's igniting some interest or momentum. Therefore, we'd probably want to just take a few minutes, share at a high level what might be possible, and then quickly request, would it make sense for us to get together, say, next Tuesday as we go to work and get a little deeper into the topic. And finally, the last of the 4 rights that we have to get right is the right end in mind. End in mind stands for 3 things. What do we hope they could either say or do or decide as a result of our engagement? In an early meeting, they're probably unlikely to decide, let's choose you, or let's get started. That's probably going to be somewhere later in the sales cycle or need to be made by a group of people. So instead, what does the right end in mind say to a first meeting where we're trying to ignite momentum? It might sound something like this. What I would like to do is share at a high level some of the things we talked about on the phone last week, followed by us engaging with you around whether or not that topic or those issues, business issues, are of interest to you, or what you might be experiencing, and engage in some questioning and some dialogue here, testing and validating whether this topic's of interest or would have any form of momentum. Then we would say, so that at the end of the meeting we can mutually decide whether or not this would merit further dialogue or discussion, so that by the time we get to the end of the meeting we can ask for the end in mind. So we might say, this has been a very helpful meeting, it's been useful for me to understand some of the issues you're experiencing. It seems to me it might make sense for us to continue to keep talking. What do you believe about that? Well, so as we look at this, the 4 rights are absolutely critical. Where they may be natural, they're not always common practice. We need to get the right topic with the right people for the right amount of time. And finally, the right end in mind. As you think about getting those 4 rights right, let's not just make them common sense, let's make them common practice. And maybe we can be a little more natural, like Antonio Gaudí in his belief about how architecture could be more natural and more beautiful. I'm checking out from you from Barcelona, Spain. Looking forward to catching up with you in another Accelerator.